Just as I transmigrated into a tragic novel as the quintessential sucker side character, I found myself blocked at my dorm room door by my academic advisor. The original host of this body was such a simp for the female lead that he wasn't just buried in predatory loans. He'd earned the nickname the Walking Wallet. My only plan was to pack my bags and skip town overnight. I swore in this life I had one goal: do absolutely nothing. No one was going to make me a doormat again. But she, the book's most unhinged female villain, pulled out an exclusive mentorship contract, claiming she could pay off all my debts. The condition? Just one. What the hell was she planning? Caleb Stone, open the door. I know you're in there. Outside, a woman's voice rang out, cold and commanding, brooking no refusal. I jolted awake, bouncing off the mattress that smelled of cheap particle board. Who was that? My name is Caleb Stone. An hour ago, I was just a corporate drone eating ramen in my apartment and roasting bad fiction. Then, I blinked, and suddenly I was inside this old-school angst fest called The Billionaire's Pet, inhabiting the body of a supporting character with my exact name. The original Caleb was the ultimate tragedy. To chase the novel's innocent heroine, Lily Hart, he had blown through his parents' allowance and taken out multiple online loans, racking up over $70,000 in debt. And the result? Lily happily spent his money while stringing him along, only to turn around and get entangled with the domineering CEO hero. And now, I was the one stuck holding the bag. Caleb, I'm counting to 3. The voice outside spoke again, laced with impatience. My brain spun. That voice. It was my academic advisor, Elena Vane. In the book, she was a character more powerful than the hero, with a mysterious background and connections everywhere. But she was also the ultimate villainess, a beautiful woman with possessive tendencies that bordered on psychosis. Jealous of Lily Hart, she would eventually try to ruin her, only to meet a miserable end. But why was she looking for me? In the plot, she and the simp Caleb barely interacted. 1, 2. The icy countdown sounded like a death knell. I didn't want to offend a major antagonist the second I arrived, so I scrambled out of bed, shoved my feet into slides, and opened the door. A wave of crisp, expensive perfume hit me instantly. The woman standing in the hallway wore a tailored white skirt suit that hugged a figure dangerous enough to stop traffic. Behind gold-rimmed glasses, her phoenix eyes were sharp and discerning, as if she could peel back my skin and see the soul underneath. This was Elena Vane. She was even more beautiful and oppressive than the book described. P. Professor Vane. I squeezed out a smile that was probably uglier than a grimace. Elena didn't speak. Her gaze swept over my dorm room, which was as messy as a kennel, and her brow furrowed almost imperceptibly. Then, she walked in and closed the door behind her. Click. The lock engaged. My heart skipped a beat. What was happening? A man and a woman, locked in a room? Seat. She pointed to the only chair that wasn't covered in laundry. I sat obediently, like a convict awaiting sentencing. Elena pulled over another chair and sat opposite me, crossing her legs with elegance. She pulled a thick stack of documents from her briefcase and slapped them onto the desk. Smack. I flinched. Caleb Stone, sophomore computer science major. GPA 2.1, on the verge of academic probation. You have accounts with 13 different lending apps, totaling $75,420 in debt. Her voice was devoid of emotion, yet it hit me like a sledgehammer. How'd she know? Down to the last dollar. I broke into a cold sweat. Even if she was a well-connected advisor, stripping a student's privacy this bare was impossible, wasn't it? You, Professor, did you investigate me? Elena pushed up her glasses, the lenses reflecting a cold glint. I don't just know that. She paused, leaning forward slightly to stare in my eyes. I also know you're planning to use next month's living allowance to buy Lily Hart the latest Chanel bag. My pupils dilated. The original host had only made that promise to Lily yesterday verbally. No one knew except the two of them. How? How could she know? A ridiculous thought flashed through my mind. Was she transmigrated too? Or a regressor? Seeing my horrified expression, the corner of Elena's mouth hooked up in a faint arc, as if satisfied with my reaction. No need to guess. She slid the document toward me. Sign this, and I'll pay your debts. I looked down. The bold, capitalized header at the top stung my eyes. Individual academic mentorship and debt restructuring agreement party A. Elena Vane Party B. Caleb Stone. I flipped through the pages, and the clauses made my scalp tingle. Party B must unconditionally accept all academic arrangements made by Party A during the agreement period. Party B must report their daily itinerary to Party A in advance. Without Party A's permission, Party B shall not have any contact with the opposite sex beyond normal classmate interactions. Party B's phone must have the Study Monitor app specified by Party A installed. This wasn't a mentorship agreement. This was an indenture contract. I looked up sharply. Professor Vane, what does this mean? Exactly what it says. Caleb, you don't have a choice. She stood up, looking down at me. Sign it, and you clear your debt and graduate smoothly. Don't sign, and within 3 days, debt collectors will be calling your parents, and the school will expel you for academic failure. Her voice was soft, but it carried a lethal threat. This woman was definitely hiding something. The villain boss in the book wouldn't spare a glance for a nobody side character. Why was she doing this? Why me? I asked the question burning in my gut. Elena leaned down, bringing her face close to my ear. Her warm breath tickled my skin. Her voice carried a trace of paranoia and madness I couldn't comprehend. Because I can't let you die for another woman again. What? Before I could react, she straightened up, returning to her icy demeanor. Sign it, Caleb. From today on, you belong to me. I signed a contract. It was basically a deed of sale, but I had no choice. I was the fish on the chopping block. Elena was right. The moment I signed, my phone buzzed. It was a notification from my bank, a deposit of $75,000. Immediately after, another text, a deposit of $3,000. $75 to clear the debt. $3,000 is your allowance for this month, Elena said from above me. If it's not enough, tell me. I clutched the phone, my fingers trembling. Was this the power of Sugar Mommy? She dropped nearly 80 grand without blinking. Now install the app. She presented a QR code. Resigned to my fate, I scanned it and downloaded an app called Bright Future. The name sounded positive enough. But once I logged in with the credentials Elena provided, I realized I was naive. This app didn't just track my real-time location. It could read my call logs, texts, and even access my photo gallery. The most insane part was the remote lock feature. Whenever Elena wanted, she could turn my phone into a brick. To ensure you focus on your studies, Elena said, her emotionless voice cutting through the air, I will receive a notification if your daily screen time exceeds 4 hours, or if you open any games or social media apps. I was speechless. This wasn't study supervision. It was an electronic ankle monitor. Do you have a problem with that? She asked. Did I have a problem? Did I dare have a problem? I forced a sycophantic smile. No problem, Professor Vane. I'll study hard and make you proud. Elena nodded in satisfaction. Good. Now, delete Lily Hart from your contacts. I froze. Delete Lily? Although I had no interest in her, the original Caleb worshipped her. She was pinned to the top of his chats, starred as a favorite, and his wallpaper was her selfie. Elena wanted to completely sever my tie to the heroine. What? Can't bear to let go. Her eyes instantly cooled. No. My survival instincts kicked in. I whipped out my phone and found Lily's contact right in front of her. But a second before hitting delete, I hesitated. Not because I cared, but because I knew the plot. Tonight, Lily was supposed to contact Caleb to help her hold the line at a bar against a wealthy harasser. That event was the catalyst for Caleb's first confrontation with the hero. If I deleted her, what about tonight's plot? Would it cause a butterfly effect? Do you need me to help you? Elena's voice dripped with danger. No need. I gritted my teeth and tapped delete. Screw the butterfly effect. Staying alive right now was more important. Watching the delete contact confirmation pop up, I pressed it without hesitation. The world went quiet. Elena watched my actions, the frost in her eyes melting just a fraction. Good. She stood up. The agreement is effective immediately. Tonight at 7, come to my office for your first tutoring session. With that, she turned and left, leaving behind a cold, mesmerizing silhouette. When the door clicked shut, I slumped into the chair, letting out a long breath. That Elena Vane, she was definitely a regressor. Her line, I can't let you die for another woman again, revealed too much. In the original book, Caleb's ending involved getting stabbed to death by the hero's rival during a kidnapping attempt, all to protect Lily Hart. It was a pathetic, worthless death. So, Elena came back to save me, but why? Would a villain boss be that kind? It didn't feel that simple. The way she looked at me wasn't how a teacher looks at a student. It was how someone looks at a lost treasure they finally found again. With a belly full of questions, I started cleaning up my pigsty of a room. I had to look somewhat presentable for tutoring later. Just as I threw out the trash, my phone rang. Unknown number. I picked up. Hello. Hello, Caleb. Why did you delete me on WeChat? The voice on the other end was sugary sweet, laced with a hint of grievance. Lily Hart. My head started to throb. Why was this girl haunting me? Do you need something? My tone was cold. Lily clearly didn't expect that attitude. She paused. Caleb, what's wrong? Are you mad at me? I am sorry. Okay. I know you're upset. I didn't post the gift you gave me yesterday on my Instagram story. But I just don't like to be too flashy. I felt nauseous. Gaslighting 101. If it's not urgent, I'm hanging up. I am buses studying. Wait. Lily panicked. Caleb, are you free tonight? I'm in trouble. Can you come help me? There's this rich guy harassing me, trying to get me to go to Club Onyx tonight. I'm scared to go alone. Can you come with me? Just as a favor. Here it was. The plot force. No time. I refused instantly. Go to a bar? Is she joking? I was now Elena Vane's property, under 24-hour surveillance. If I stepped one foot into a bar, she'd skin me alive tomorrow. Caleb. Lily's voice turned tearful. Really, you have to help me this time. Please. Sorry. I interrupted. Professor Vane ordered me to go to her office tonight for tutoring. I threw Elena's name out as a shield. Silence on the other end. After a long pause, Lily asked in disbelief, Elena Vane? The Ice Queen? Why does she want you? Tutoring. Who are you kidding? Why would she tutor a failing student like you? Lily's tone turned sharp and mean. Caleb, are you just making excuses because you don't want to help me? I couldn't be bothered to explain. Think what you want. I hung up and blocked the number. The world was finally quiet. I lay on the bed, staring at the ceiling, but I didn't feel relaxed. I dodged the bullet today, but what about tomorrow? As long as Lily, the trouble magnet, existed, the plot's gravity would keep pulling at me. And Elena, she was like a giant web, trapping me tight. I felt like a puppet, pulled by the plot on one side and Elena on the other. It sucked. At 6:50 p.m., I arrived promptly at Elena's office door. It was a private suite on the top floor of the admin building, with a killer view. I knocked. Enter. I pushed the door open. Elena sat behind a massive desk, wearing a headset, seemingly in a video conference. She nodded at me and pointed to the sofa. I sat down obediently, not daring to make a sound. The office was quiet, save for her fluent English responses to whoever was on the call. I realized then that Elena wasn't just beautiful. She was terrifyingly competent. She was a special lecturer for the CS department, managing high-level projects. Being an advisor was just a side gig. Why would a high flyer like her fixate on a loser like me? The meeting ended. She took off the headset and looked at me. Come here. I walked to her desk. She pulled a stack of review materials and a brand new set of mock exams from a drawer. Starting today, 2 hours every night. I'm tutoring you. This is the core material for C++, and these are data structures mock exams. Do them. I'll review them when you're done. Looking at the mountain of paper, my head spun. I was a burnout coder in my past life. I transmigrated to slack off, not grind leak code. Is there a problem? Elena saw my resistance. No, I'm just so moved. I immediately plastered on a look of gratitude. Professor Vane, you're like a second mother to me. The corner of Elena's mouth quirked up. She seemed pleased. Seat. She pointed to the chair across the desk. It was close enough to smell that faint, cold scent on her. I sat, picked up a pen, and started battling the exam. The office was silent, only the scratching of my pen audible. Elena didn't speak, just working quietly across from me. But her gaze, it drifted to me every so often. It was invasive, focused, assessing, as if she were dissecting me. I felt prickly all over, sweat forming on my back. Suddenly, my phone vibrated. I glanced at it instinctively. It was a notification from the campus forum. Breaking. Campus belle Lily Hart in altercation at Club Onyx. CS department hottie Julian Thorne saves the damsel. Below was a blurry photo. Lily, looking teary-eyed, was tucked into the arms of a tall, handsome guy. The novel's hero, Julian Thorne. The plot had self-corrected. Except this time, the hero saving the beauty wasn't the simp Caleb, but the actual protagonist, Julian. Everything was back on track. I exhaled in relief. Good. Let the leads lock it down and leave me alone. I just wanted to be a salted fish. Wait. No. A student receiving a sugar mommy's tutelage. What are you looking at? Elena's voice cut through my thoughts. It was freezing cold. I jumped, quickly locking the screen. In nothing. Just checking a reference for a question I didn't get. Is that so? Elena stood up, rounded the desk, and walked to my side. She bent down, one hand resting on the back of my chair, trapping me. With her other hand, she picked up my phone. I was encased in her presence, surrounded by her scent, my heart missing a beat. She unlocked my phone effortlessly. I forgot. She knew my passcode too. When she saw the foreign notification, the temperature in the room dropped to absolute zero. Hero saves the beauty. She whispered the words, her voice dripping with mockery and a trace of violence I couldn't comprehend. She looked up, a dark storm churning in those beautiful phoenix eyes. Caleb. She gripped my chin, forcing me to look at her. Do you enjoy playing the hero that much? Her grip on my jaw was tight, forcing me to stare into the storm brewing in her eyes. It hurts. Professor Vane, you're hurting me. Elena seemed to snap out of it, loosening her hand, though her gaze remained frosty. Answer my question. I don't want to be a hero, I said, rushing to pledge my loyalty. I just want to be a good student who studies hard. Really? She sneered. So if Lily Hart had called you tonight, would you have gone? A trick question. I shook my head without hesitation. Absolutely not. Your tutoring is more important than anything. Nothing gets in the way of my education. Elena stared at me for a few seconds, seemingly judging the truth of my words. Finally, she straightened up and returned to her seat. The atmosphere in the office thawed slightly. Keep working. She dropped 2 words and stopped looking at me. I couldn't focus anymore. My mind was racing with the image of her just now. It was terrifying. Just because of a news notification unrelated to me, she nearly lost control. Her hostility toward Lily, or rather, her extreme sensitivity to any interaction I might have with Lily, went beyond the normal scope of a villain. What? What had she been through? I spent that night's tutoring on edge. When 9 o'clock finally hit and she dismissed me, I felt like I'd been granted amnesty. I grabbed my bag and bolted. Back in the dorm, I collapsed on the bed, more exhausted than after a full day of crunch time coding. Being around a beautiful psychopath was emotionally draining. I opened my phone, wanted to doom scroll some TikToks to relax. But the moment I tapped the app, the screen went black. Text appeared in the center. Daily entertainment limit reached. Your exclusive advisor, Elena Vane. I stared at the screen. Fuck. The remote lock was real. I tried restarting it. Useless. Aside from emergency calls, my phone was now a brick. I accepted my fate. I couldn't fight her, so I'd hide. I logged into the campus forum on my dusty laptop, hoping for some gossip to distract me. Right at the top was a trending post. Guys, who gets it? Woke up as a simp side character, $75,000 in debt, and now a psycho-villainous sugar mommy is obsessed with me. What do I do? Urgent. Author, Caleb loves to slack. My eye twitched. That was me. Wait, I didn't write this. I clicked it. Posted this afternoon. The post described my day in terrifying detail using the third person, from being blocked at the door to signing the indenture contract to the spyware. It was like someone had a camera on me. The comments were exploding. Holy crap. What kind of god-tier plot is this? Yandra boss force love. Oh, run. She's definitely a regressor. You probably broke her heart in a past life, and now she's back to cage you. I'm tired of saying the word jealous. Mommy, feed me. Am I the only one looking at the ID? Caleb loves to slack is my spirit animal. My scalp tingled. Who wrote this? A prank. But the details were too real. I scrolled down and saw the latest reply from the OP themselves. Update. Fam, I listened to you, tested the waters, and she definitely got jealous. Now the problem. Tomorrow a dumb trust fund baby is going to jump me because of Lily. What do I do? A. Fight back. B. Call for backup. C. Ask my exclusive advisor for help. The replies were unanimous. Pick C. Hug the sugar mommy's thigh. I want to see the psycho teacher go crazy for you. C. 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 I bet OP has no friends to call, and you'll get wrecked if you fight. Mommy is the only way. I stared at the screen, lost in thought. This poster didn't just know my past. They could predict the future. Someone was going to jump me tomorrow. It had to be the novel's plot. After the bar incident, the rich kid who got beat up by the hero, Julian, would take his anger out on the mastermind, Caleb. He'd corner Caleb on the way to class and beat him senseless. It was a turning point where Caleb broke a leg, took a semester off, and became even more pathetic. If the post was true, I was getting beat up tomorrow. No way. I had to think. Fighting was out. I was scrawny. Back up. The original Caleb was a loner simp. That left. I looked up, as if I could see through the ceiling to the top floor of the admin building. Ask Elena. But how? Say I was threatened. Would she believe me? Or think I was fishing for sympathy? I agonized all night and went to class the next morning with dark circles under my eyes. I was jumpy the whole way, expecting goons to pop out of the bushes. Luckily, I made it to the building safely. I relaxed. Maybe the post was BS. First period was calculus. I sat in the back row, dozing off. Suddenly, the back door banged open. A guy in a loud floral shirt swaggered in, looking like trash. 2 distinctively menacing jocks followed him. The class went silent, eyes glued to them. Floral shirt scanned the room and locked onto me. He grinned, showing yellow teeth stained from smoking. You Caleb Stone? My heart sank. It was happening. This was Zach Sterling, the rich kid Julian beat up. Can I help you? I tried to stay calm. Kid, you got guts. Zach walked over, planting a foot on my desk. I hear you're the one who told Lily to play me. I don't know what you're talking about. Still playing dumb. Zach slapped my desk, sending my books flying. Last night, if you hadn't been too chicken to show up, would I have gotten my ass kicked by Julian Thorne? How are we going to settle this debt? The two jocks behind him cracked their knuckles, closing in. The class was terrified. No one dared to speak. My brain raced. What to do? I couldn't win. Run. Both doors were blocked. Was I really going to take a beating? Just as despair hit, my phone vibrated in my pocket. A text. From Elena Vane. Content. Listen to advice. Listen to advice. What advice? I suddenly remembered the forum post. The latest reply. Ask my exclusive advisor for help. It was the only choice. I took a deep breath, looked up at Zach, and forced a fawning smile. Zach, bro, it's a misunderstanding. It's a long story. Why don't we talk outside? Zach paused, surprised I folded so fast. Smart kid. He took his foot off the desk. Let's go. Bathroom. I followed the three of them out. I knew I was walking into a meat grinder, but I had to gamble. Gamble that Elena would actually come save me, just like the post said. We marched to the men's room at the end of the hall. Zach locked the door behind us. All right, kid. How do you want to die? He cracked his knuckles. Zach. I backed up, pulling my phone out and speed dialing. It was Elena's number. She made me save it when I signed the contract. It connected instantly. I didn't dare speak. I just hid the phone behind my back, microphone facing out. Calling for help. Zach spotted the move, snatched my phone, and smashed it onto the tile floor. The screen shattered. Damn it, doing this the hard way. Zach roared, winding up a punch aimed right at my face. I squeezed my eyes shut. The pain didn't come. Bang! A massive crash echoed as the bathroom door was kicked open from the outside. Sunlight flooded in, silhouetting a tall, cold figure. Elena was here. She was still in that white skirt suit, standing in 4-inch heels. Yet the aura radiating from her was more terrifying than the three jocks combined. Her gaze swept the scene and landed on me. When she saw Zach's raised fist, a monstrous rage ignited in her phoenix eyes. Stop! Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried an undeniable authority. Zach jumped, turning around. When he saw it was Elena Vane, he froze, then sneered. I wondered who it was. Professor Vane. What? You standing up for this kid? Elena ignored him, walking straight to me and placing herself between us. She looked at Zach, her eyes sharp as knives. You dare touch what belongs to me. Belongs to you? Zach laughed like he'd heard the funniest joke in the world. Professor Vane, stop kidding yourself. This kid is just a simp. He belongs to nobody. I'm doing the world a favor by teaching him a lesson. His two lackeys joined in the jeering. Yeah, an advisor stepping in? A bit of an overreach, isn't it? Professor, go back to teaching. This isn't your business. Elena's expression cooled, degree by degree. She slowly raised a hand and adjusted her gold-rimmed glasses. It was the precursor to her wrath. Zach Sterling, she enunciated slowly. Your father is Victor Sterling, chairman of Sterling Corp., correct? Zach's laughter cut off abruptly. How do you know? I also know that Sterling Corp. is currently bidding for that plot of land in the South District. And your biggest competitor is Thorne Enterprises. Thorne Enterprises was the hero Julian's family business. Zach's face changed. What's your point? Nothing. Elena's lips curved into a chilling smile. I'm just reminding you. If the person who belongs to me loses a single hair here today, I guarantee that by tomorrow morning, Sterling Corp. will receive a joint audit notification from the IRS and the SEC. You. Zach was shocked and furious. You're bluffing. Who do you think you are? You could try me. Elena's tone was calm, but underneath lay a palpitating pressure. Zach stared at her, sweat beading on his forehead. He was a spoiled brat, but he wasn't stupid. Elena's presence was too powerful. It triggered an instinctual fear. This woman was definitely not just a simple university lecturer. If she dared to say that, she had the clout to back it up. Offending an untouchable figure for a nobody wasn't worth it. Zach weighed his options and folded. He glared at me viciously. Kid, you got lucky. Let's go. He and his goons scurried away like rats. The bathroom was suddenly just me and Elena. Crisis averted. My tense nerves gave out, my legs turned to jelly, and I nearly collapsed. A slender but strong arm caught me just in time. Are you okay? Elena's voice held a trace of tension I'd never heard before. I shook my head and looked up at her. The sunlight from the doorway bathed her in a golden halo. In that moment, she wasn't a villain. She was. My God. Thank you, Professor. My voice was raspy. Elena didn't speak. She reached out and gently brushed a speck of dust from my forehead. Her fingertips were cold, but the contact sent a jolt through me like electricity. Phone's broken, she said, glancing at the shattered device on the floor. I'll take you to buy a new one this afternoon. No. No need. I can fix. I'm buying it. She interrupted, her tone brokering no argument. I didn't dare object. I just nodded. Let's go. Back to class. She turned and walked out. I trailed behind her like a puppy. Back in the classroom, everyone's eyes glued to us, full of curiosity and scrutiny. Elena ignored them, walking straight to the podium. Your calculus professor had an emergency. I am Sabin. She picked up a piece of chalk and wrote a complex calculus problem on the board. Who can solve this? Silence. The problem was way beyond undergraduate level. Elena's gaze swept the room and landed on me. Caleb, come up. Me? Are you kidding? I was a coder in my past life. I returned my calculus knowledge to the void years ago. I stood up stiffly, stammering, Professor, I don't know how. I'll teach you. Elena walked to my side, took the chalk, and started working through the equation on the board next to me. She stood close. Too close. I could smell her cold perfume clearly. Her hair occasionally brushed my cheek. My heart raced uncontrollably. The class watched, jaws on the floor. The Ice Queen, Elena Vane, was giving one-on-one tutoring to the department's last-place student. It was surreal. Only I knew this wasn't teacherly affection. It was a declaration. She was telling everyone, Caleb Stone is under my protection. I didn't absorb a word of the lecture. My mind was entirely occupied by her scent and the accidental touches. After class, Elena marched me straight to the parking lot. She drove a white Maserati. Sitting in the passenger seat, I felt like I was dreaming. What do you want to eat? She asked. Whatever is. Omakase then. She took me to the city's most expensive sushi spot. The bill per person had 4 digits. I looked at the menu, hands shaking. Professor, this is too expensive. My treat. Under her coercion, I experienced true luxury. After lunch, she dragged me to the Apple store. Which color do you like? She pointed at the newest iPhone. Professor, really, I can fix mine. I like Sierra Blue. She told the clerk to wrap up the top spec model. She swiped her card without blinking. Holding the new phone, I felt a heavy weight. This wasn't simple tutoring anymore. She was using money, material goods, and all her resources to keep me. I felt uneasy. Professor Vane, why are you being so good to me? I finally asked. Elena was driving. She turned to glance at me. The neon city lights reflected in her eyes, flickering. Because she paused, her voice quiet but distinct. I don't want to lose you again. That phrase again. My heart thumped. Did we know each other before? Elena fell silent. She looked back at the road, her knuckles whitening on the steering wheel. A long time passed before she spoke. We didn't, but I had a very long dream. In the dream, you died. For a woman who wasn't worth it. Her voice carried a fragility and sorrow I'd never heard. So when I woke up, I told myself. She turned, looking deeply into me. This time, I will absolutely never let you leave my side. Even if I have to lock you up. Back in the dorm, the first thing I did was open my laptop and check that mysterious forum. Sure enough, the user, Caleb Loves to Slack, had updated the thread. Title, Live after hugging the Yander sugar mommy's thigh, I became public enemy no. Ain, Yeka, OP update. Fum. I survived. The rich mommy descended for the heavens and scared off the thugs with one sentence. She's so cool, I'm in love. Update 2. She took me for $500 sushi and bought me the new iPhone. Brothers, selling out tastes so good. Latest, she sort of confessed. Said she had a dream where I died. So in this life, she has to lock me up. Help, the Yandra vibes are off the charts. But why am I kinda into it? The comments are going wild again. What is this plot? Submissive puppy and possessive teacher. I ship it. Opie, listen me, just give in. A beautiful, badass, rich woman like that. You won't find another one with a lantern. I don't want to lose you again, even if I have to lock you up. Holy shit, that dialogue. Someone write the fanfic. Am I the only one curious about the dream? Opie, ask her what happened. I read the comments with mixed feelings. Who is this poster? They're like a worm in my gut, updating the second something happened to me. They even quoted Elena's private words verbatim. This wasn't a coincidence. I seriously suspected I was being monitored, not by Elena's spyware app, but by something higher dimensional. I tried to DM Caleb Loves to Slack, but the system said the user had privacy settings on. Dead end. I scratched my head in frustration. Whatever comes, comes. The priority was figuring out Elena's goal. She said she had a dream. That dream was 99% likely to be the previous life, or the original book's plot. So, she really was a regressor. A reborn villain boss, ignoring the protagonist to focus on a simp side character? Why? Could it be? A bold guess flashed in my mind. In the previous life, Did something happen between us that I didn't know about? Just then, the new phone buzzed. A text from Elena. Does a new phone work well? I replied instantly. Works great. Thank you, Professor. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m. Meet me at the gym. Huh? Why the gym? Morning run. Me? Help. I hate cardio. Starting tomorrow, you run with me for an hour every morning. Your physical condition is pathetic. I could almost see her frowning through the screen. I didn't dare refuse. Okay, Professor. I lay back on the bed, resigned. This wasn't an advisor. This was a mom. Managing my studies, my life, and now my health. The next morning at 6:30, I dragged myself out of bed into the gym. Elena was already there. She had swapped the suit for tight, athletic gear that showcased a perfect physique. With a high ponytail and no makeup, she looked younger and more energetic. I stared a bit too long. What are you looking at? Warm up, she shot at me. The next hour was hell. I was gasping for air after 10 minutes, lungs burning. Elena, meanwhile, barely broke a sweat and had the breath control to critique my form. Breathing rhythm is off. Swing your arms more. Caleb, your stamina is worse than a middle schooler's. I was thoroughly roasted. After the hour, I collapsed on the track like a dead dog. Elena walked over, handing me water and a towel. Get up. I'm taking you to breakfast. She dragged me to a famous breakfast spot near campus. She ordered a feast, pancakes, eggs, bacon, oatmeal. Eat more. You're too skinny. As she spoke, she naturally peeled a hard-boiled egg and placed it in my bowl. Me. It was weird, but a warmth spread through my chest. Being cared for. Felt kind of nice. After breakfast, we walked to class together. We turned heads the whole way. The computer science ice queen and the notorious simp failure running and eating together. This was bigger news than Lily and Julian. The forum threads about us were hundreds of pages long. So, Professor Vane and Caleb Stone dating, investigating the man who made the ice queen cook. Why Caleb? How did he bag Elena Vane? Rumors flew. Some said I blackmailed her. Some said I was her long-lost brother. I laughed at the absurdity. Elena didn't care. She kept tutoring me at night, running with me in the morning, and dragging me to the library on weekends. Under her supervision, I quit gaming and sleeping in. My grades skyrocketed. More importantly, I was getting used to her. Used to her energy in the mornings. Used to her scent in the office at night. Used to her calling my name in that cool voice. It was a terrifying habit. I knew I was walking into the cage she wove step by step, and I didn't want to leave. One night, while doing practice problems in her office, Lily called again. Only Elena and a few key people had my new number. How'd she get it? I glanced at Elena. She was reading a file, seemingly oblivious. I hesitated, then answered. Caleb. Lily's voice was tearful. It's me. I kept it flat. Caleb, can you come to the hospital? I got in a car accident. My heart jumped. Quel accident? That wasn't in the book. Is it serious? Where's Julian? Isn't he with you? He had to go abroad for business. Lily sounded weak. I'm alone at the hospital. I'm scared. Caleb, we were classmates. Can't you come visit me? I fell silent. Morally, visiting a classmate was normal. But I looked at Elena. She was still reading, her profile soft under the lamp. I couldn't imagine her reaction if I said I was going to see Lily. She might actually break my legs. Sorry, I finally said. Professor Vane is tutoring me. I can't leave. Elena again. Lily screeched. Caleb, are you brainwashed? What kind of potion did she give you? I'm the one who... I hung up. I didn't want to hear it. When I put the phone down, I realized Elena had lowered her file and was watching me. Her expression was calm, unreadable. Lily Hart? She asked. I nodded, nervous. She was in a car accident. MN. I know. You know. I paused. I arranged it. Elena's tone was as casual as discussing the weather. A chill shot from my feet to my skull. W, what did you say? She keeps trying to get close to you. It's annoying. I just taught her a small lesson, so she'd stay quiet in the hospital for a few days. Her voice was soft, but it stabbed my heart like a poison dagger. Crazy. This woman was completely crazy. To stop Lily from contacting me, she caused a car crash. She said, small lesson, but accidents are unpredictable. What if? I looked at this woman, impossibly beautiful, impossibly dangerous, and felt genuine fear for the first time. Why? Why would you do that? My voice trembled. I told you. Elena stood up and walked toward me slowly. Anyone trying to take you away from me will disappear. She reached me, bent down, and trapped me against the chair, placing her hands on the armrests. Her stunning face was inches from mine. I could count her eyelashes, see the paranoid flame deep in her eyes. Caleb, her voice held a hypnotic power. Don't be afraid of me. Everything I do is to protect you. Just stay by my side obediently, and that's enough. Her lips landed gently on my forehead. Cold. Soft. My mind went blank. That kiss was like a brand seared onto my skin and into my heart. From that day on, Elena's control became blatant. She wasn't satisfied with evening tutoring anymore. Citing convenience for care, she moved me into her apartment near campus. It was a minimalist, luxurious penthouse. She gave me my own room, but more often than not, I slept in her bed. Strictly platonic cuddling, of course. She seemed to enjoy holding me while she slept, like a giant body pillow. And me? I went from stiff resistance to numbness and habit. I even began to crave the warmth of her embrace and that reassuring scent. I knew I was sinking. She planned everything. What I ate, wore, studied, who I talked to. My world narrowed down to just her. And her world seemed to contain only me. She cooked breakfast, remembering everything I disliked. She did my laundry, folding even my boxers perfectly. She massaged my shoulders when I studied too late. She played every role: wife, sister, teacher. Everything except Loa. We had the intimacy, but no words of love. The ambiguity was suffocating, yet I was powerless to break it. Then came the university anniversary gala. The campus was lit up and buzzing. Elena, as a distinguished faculty member, had to speak. She wore a red evening gown, applied exquisite makeup, and looked heart-stoppingly beautiful. Wait for me at home, she kissed my cheek before leaving. After the gala, I'll take you for late-night snacks. I nodded. Once she left, I was alone in the huge apartment. I opened my laptop and logged into the forum out of habit. The Caleb Loves to Slack thread was still updating. Latest, fam, I think I've been effectively locked in a golden cage by the rich mommy. Eating, living, sleeping together. She's turning me into a useless pet. This degenerate life is actually pretty awesome, but I feel uneasy. She's too good to me. Too good to be true. I feel like a canary. Tonight she's at the gala. Alone at home, I suddenly really want to know what happened in that dream she mentioned. Why is she so obsessed? Reading that, my heart stirred. Yeah, I want to know too. The dream was the key to everything. Driven by some instinct, I opened the door to Elena's bedroom. It was pristine and cold, just like her. I didn't know what I was looking for until I found a locked diary in the bottom drawer of her nightstand. The lock was simple. A paperclip popped it open. I took a deep breath and opened it. The pages were yellowed, filled with Elena's elegant handwriting. The dates were from 3 years ago. X month, X day, Sonny. Saw that freshman, Caleb, again today. He was standing under the girls' dorm, holding roses like an idiot, waiting for Lily. He got soaked in the rain. He's so stupid. Stupid enough to make my heart ache. X month, X day, rain. Caleb went to work construction to buy Lily a birthday gift. His hands were raw. I secretly bought ointment and put it in his desk. Hope he finds it. X month, X day, overcast. Julian and Lily are together. I saw Caleb drinking alone on the field, crying like a child. I wanted to hug him, but I couldn't. I am Elena Vane, the untouchable professor. I can't let him see me like that. I flipped page after page, my heart feeling like it was being squeezed by an invisible hand. In the previous life, I never knew about she. She had loved me in secret for so long, like a silent guardian, watching from the shadows, hurting for me. While I, the foolish Caleb, only had eyes for Lily, who didn't care about me at all. I flipped to the end. The handwriting became messy, full of pain. X month, X day, blood. He's dead. To protect Lily, he took 3 stabs. He died right in front of me. I held his cooling body and cried uncontrollably for the first time. I told him I loved him. I begged him not to die, but he couldn't hear me. Caleb, why are you so stupid? That woman wasn't worth your life. If I could do it over, I definitely won't let you leave me. I'll lock you up so you can only see me. I'll make you mine alone. The diary ended there. The last page was wrinkled from tears, the ink blurred. I closed the book, my hands shaking uncontrollably. This was the truth. It wasn't a villain's perverse possessiveness. It was a woman who, after experiencing soul-crushing pain, was trying with everything she had to protect the person she couldn't save. Her paranoia, her madness, her control. It all made sense. My eyes burned, and tears fell unchecked. Suddenly, the apartment door clicked open. Elena was back. She saw the diary in my hands, and the color drained from her face instantly. Our eyes met, and the air froze. Elena stood in the entryway, still in that stunning red gown, holding takeout bags. Looking at me, or rather, the diary in my hands, panic and helplessness flooded her usually sharp eyes. She looked like a child caught doing something wrong. She opened her mouth to explain, but found no words. I stood up and walked toward her. Tears were still streaming down my face, but I was smiling. I reached her and gently wiped the moisture gathering at the corners of her eyes. She was crying too. This woman, always strong and cold to the world, was as fragile as porcelain in front of me. You saw? Oh, her voice trembled. I nodded. Why didn't you tell me? I asked, my voice hoarse. I was scared. She looked down, avoiding my gaze. Scared you think I was crazy. That you'd hate me. Idiot. I opened my arms and pulled her tightly into a hug. Her body was stiff, surprised. I buried my face in the crook of her neck, inhaling her scent greedily. How could I hate you? Elena. I said her name, shaking with emotion. Thank you. Thank you for doing so much. Thank you for loving me so deeply in a timeline I didn't know. Thank you for being willing to start over just to save a fool like me. The body in my arms slowly relaxed. She hugged me back, squeezing tight, as if trying to merge me into her bones. Caleb, she whispered my name over and over in my ear. In that moment, all fear and unease vanished. I only knew one thing. I love this woman who would fight the world for me. We hugged in the entryway for a long time, until the food went cold. Hungry, she looked up, eyes red like a rabbit's. I shook my head, then lowered mine to kiss her lips. They were cool like her fingers, but incredibly soft. She froze for a second, then responded awkwardly but passionately. It was a kiss that was overdue by a lifetime. That night, we talked for hours. She told me about the previous life, how she fell in love at first sight with the goofy freshman at orientation, how she used her status as a teacher to hide her feelings while guarding me, how, after I died, she lost the will to live and ended her own life. I thought it was over, she said softly, leaning on my chest. But I opened my eyes and I was back. The moment I woke up, I swore I wouldn't let go this time. My heart ached listening to her. I couldn't imagine the burden of those memories she carried alone. I'm sorry, ikis tar fured. Sorry you suffered so much before. It wasn't suffering. She looked at me, eyes full of love. As long as I can be with you, it's worth it. From now on, I cupped her face, I'll protect you. From that day, our dynamic shifted. I stopped passively accepting her arrangements. I actively integrated into her life, cared for her, shared her burdens. I woke up early to make breakfast. I sat quietly during her meetings, bringing her tea. I massaged her when she was tired and told jokes to make her laugh. The rumors at school intensified, but we didn't care. We walked hand in hand, facing the stairs openly. Envy, jealousy, confusion, it didn't matter. My world only needed her. Of course, there was noise. Julian and Lily. After getting out of the hospital, Lily learned I was living with Elena and went crazy. She tried to see me. I shut her out. Julian finally noticed me as a rival. He cornered me, looking down his nose. Caleb, you don't deserve her. He sneered. Elena Vane isn't for people like you. Know your place. I laughed. That's not for you to decide. Julian dropped the superiority complex. Elena is my woman. Past, present, and future. You. Julian turned purple. Just then, Elena's voice came from behind me. He's right. She walked up, took my arm, and looked at Julian coldly. Julian Thorne, stop the domineering CEO act. Caleb belongs to me. No one touches him. And she paused, mocking him, control your woman. If she harasses Caleb again, I can't guarantee she'll make it out of the hospital next time. She pulled me away, leaving Julian seething. I looked at her fierce profile, heart swelling with pride. With a partner like this, what else could I ask for? The confrontation with Julian was the spark that ignited the war. Julian used his family connections to pressure the university to fire Elena for moral turpitude and an improper relationship. Lily went to the forums anonymously, smearing us with lies, calling Elena a homewrecker and me a gigolo. We were in the eye of the storm. The gossip was vicious. Look, that's them. Disgusting. Teacher and student. Didn't Caleb use to simp for Lily? Now he's with Professor Vane for the money. The word were ugly, but I didn't care. I care about Elena. I was afraid she'd be hurt, but she was stronger than I imagined. Don't worry. She held my hand firmly. This little breeze can't move me. She counterattacked. First, Lily. Elena hired top-tier white hat hackers to trace the IP. Evidence in hand, Lily was exposed. The school placed her on academic probation, and her reputation was destroyed. Then Julian, he thought money ruled everything, but he underestimated the Vane family. Elena's father was a titan of industry with deep political ties. Her mother was a revered academic. The Thorne family was nothing compared to them. One call from Elena's dad to the university president. An investigation into Elena vanished. Julian tried to pull strings in business, only to find Thorn Enterprises losing key contracts mysteriously. The storm was quelled effortlessly by Elena. Watching her operate with such precision was mesmerizing, but I knew I couldn't hide under her wings forever. She protected me in the last life. I had to be her armor in this one. I threw myself into self-improvement. I mastered my major, studied finance, management, anything to make me stronger. I entered coding competitions, winning gold after gold. I published papers in top journals. I started a tech project with friends. 2 years later, I graduated early. On graduation day, holding my diploma as valedictorian, I walked off the stage, through the crowd, straight to Elena. She wore a white dress, standing like a lily amidst the chaos. I dropped to one knee and pulled out a velvet box containing a diamond ring bought with the first pot of gold I earned myself. Elena Vane. I looked up at her. Will you marry me? The crowd gasped. Elena froze. Her eyes reddened, tears sliding down her cheeks. She covered her mouth, unable to speak. I knew she had waited for this moment across 2 lifetimes. Ido. She nodded, voice choked with tears but full of joy. I slipped the ring on her finger, stood up, and kissed her. Under the gaze of the whole school, the world faded away until it was just us. Our wedding was low-key, just close friends and family. No media circus, but it was the happiest day of my life. When I said I do, I saw tears in Elena's eyes. Married life was quiet and sweet. Elena resigned from the university to manage her family's business. She was busier than ever, handling complex mergers. I became her strongest ally. My tech company skyrocketed, becoming an industry unicorn. We were partners in business and life. She loved watching me cook, leaning against the doorframe. Caleb, she'd hug me from behind. Sometimes I feel like this is a dream. If it's a dream, I'd turn and kiss her. I hope we never wake up. We fought, mostly about her overworking or me drinking at business dinners. But we never stayed mad for more than 30 minutes. We were too afraid of losing each other. A hug and a kiss always ended the war. Life wasn't without ripples. Julian and Lily tried to stir trouble. Julian, refusing to accept defeat, tried dirty business tactics, but we crushed them. Lily, abandoned by Julian and disgraced, came to me crying, begging forgiveness, claiming she always loved me. I looked at her with zero emotion. Lily, the old Caleb, is dead. The man standing here only has Elena in his heart. I never saw her again. Rumor had it she married an unhappy older tycoon. It didn't matter. My world was bright because I had Elena. Time flew. 5 years of marriage. Our company was a leader in tech. Our family of 2 became 3. We had a daughter named Nora, meaning light. She had Elena's clear eyes, but my mischievous personality. A total little terror. Elena spoiled her rotten, but one glare from me sent Nora running to hug my leg. Daddy, I'm sorry. Looking at her face, so like Elena's, I couldn't stay mad. It was our 5th anniversary. I cleared my schedule to surprise Elena. I booked her favorite restaurant and bought lilies. When I got home, she was playing blocks with Nora in the living room. The sunset cast long shadows, painting a perfect picture. Daddy, Nora tackled me. I picked her up and kissed her cheek. Where's Mommy? Mommy's looking at the photo album. You walked over? Elena was lost in our wedding album. What you looking at? I hugged her from behind. She turned and kissed my cheek. Looking at you, Mr. Stone. Her smile still melted me. You, Mommy, Daddy, goes. Nora covered her eyes. We laughed. Professor Vane, I whispered, taking her hand. Happy 5th anniversary. Student Stone, she smiled back. Happy anniversary. Driving to dinner, our song playing, I held her hand tight. Elena, I said softly, thank you. For what? For coming into my world. Elena turned, eyes sparkling like stars. Caleb, have you ever considered? Maybe I didn't come into your world. Maybe. My world was always named Caleb Stone. I froze, then smiled. To her, I was the world. And to me, she was the same. I pulled over, unbuckled, and kissed her deeply. Outside the window, the city lights blurred. Inside, we had forever. Story complete.